How you doing, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This should hopefully be my first update of, I don't know how many, but it's the first update for the Valvoline Restore and Protect engine oil I'm running in my Mitsubishi Outlander. Now, if you've watched the first video, you'll know that the main reason why I want to do this is just because I've got a little bit of an oil consumption issue. There's not really any physical leakage. There is a bit of a leak on the sump gasket. I'm going to do that on the next service because I've just had a look under there now and it's like, let's get to a point where I need to do something about it. So yeah, next service we'll do that. So we'll drop the sump off, get to have a look at from the inside of the bottom of the engine, so that'll be something a bit different. Last time on my video I pulled the rocket cover gasket off, the rocket cover off, and we had a look inside the top of the engine. It looked pretty clean. I'm going to do that again just for a bit of a comparison, but to be honest, this will probably be the last time I'll lift the top of the engine off. Like I said, it was clean as last time, so I don't know whether we're going to get much value from looking at that. I'll talk about the oil consumption a little bit later, but at this stage nothing's really changed, but I need to be able to look through all my previous data and top-ups and just have a bit of a comparison just to see. So I've got the oil drain at the moment, so we're going to change that out. Got the filter off, so we'll have a look inside the filter again, and yeah, we'll see what it looks like. Rightio, let's get this filter element out and see if we've got any chunks or anything that wasn't there last time. So it definitely looks a little darker than the first time, and again, just like the first time, I cannot feel any crud in there. It feels pretty good. I'll grab some photos of that so we can compare it to the last time, and I might just give it a squeeze out and have a bit of a closer look. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of the oil out just in my vise. That'll make that nice and clear to see what's in there. One little tiny bit of carbon. It's pretty safe to say that there's not much gunk in this engine. Okay, now I said at the start of the video we'll talk about the actual oil consumption figures. So I wanted to go back. I've serviced this car 5 times since I've had it. Well, this is the 5th time I've serviced it since I've had it. So I'm going to go right back to the start. We're just going to run through some figures of how long between oil change intervals and how long between each subsequent top-up they take. So it's kind of interesting at the moment, but I don't know if it's conclusive. So sorry, I'm just going to be referring to the notes rather than looking at you guys. I apologise for that, but a lot of figures to go through. So first service was 12,700 kilometres between services, and I apologise for using kilometres because that's what we use, but if you need miles, then just divide everything by 1.6 and it'll get you a rough figure. So the first top-up was 2,600 kilometres later. The second top-up was another 1,700 kilometres later, and then the third top-up was basically 3,000 kilometres later. Interesting enough, through all these services, it's about 3 top-ups by each time, basically between that service interval. Now, I haven't measured exactly how much to top up, so this is generally from the low mark to the full mark on the dipstick. I think it's somewhere between about half a litre and a litre of oil. I really need to measure that and let you know, I guess. So the following oil change interval, that was a bit bigger. It was 14,000 kilometres on the oil. Interestingly enough, for this one, the distance to the first top-up was 4,700 kilometres. Then we had 2,600 kilometres the next top-up, and then 3,500 kilometres. So that one actually had a decent spread. Now the next oil change, I done 11,500 k's. First top-up, 2,500 k's. Now I'd say something's going on with my recording here because I've got the next top up 5,000 kilometres later, and then another one 500 kilometres later. So something doesn't quite add up, but I've written down the top up by dates, so I know I've done 3 top ups between that oil change. The last previous one before I started using Restore and Protect, that was 10,500 Ks on the oil. I had a 1,900 kilometres before top up, 3,400 kilometres on the top up. Now that one only had 2 top ups, so that was kind of interesting. It's a bit of an outlier, but you know, it is what it is. Now we get to the run with the Restore and Protect. So it always felt like the time taken from that new oil to the first top up seemed to take a bit longer, and then it seemed to go quicker for the oil changes. I mean, the figures are kind of, some of the previous figures sort of show that. The Restore and Protect has kind of flipped that a bit. Now it is a bit early to tell, I know. Now we've done 11,000 Ks since we started running Restore and Protect. The first top up was only 1,800 kilometres later. Interesting, after that, the next top up was 4,100 kilometres. So that was probably one of the better records if you ignore that 5,000 kilometre anomaly we had previously. And then the next top up after that was 3,200 kilometres. So, like I said, I feel like it's a bit inconclusive. We're still doing 3 top ups in between that service interval, but it does seem like it's starting to stretch out. So I'm going to continue recording my top ups on this oil change interval, and we're just going to see what happens. At this stage, still topping up, so not a huge end user experience, not a huge change, right? But like I said, that distance is starting to creep out a little. So let's just see what the next service will entail. So judging by how long it was since that last one, I think we're probably 4 or 5 months later. So probably expect another update for that, for the Outlander then. Like I said, looking at the inside of that engine, I don't think I'm going to lift that valve cover again. I don't think we're going to see anything meaningful. But I will be doing that sump gasket. So we'll drop that off and we can have a look on the bottom of the pistons and see what they look like. Just out of curiosity. It would have been maybe nicer to do that at the start as well, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm not expecting anything too outrageous there, to be honest. I mean, that top of the engine looks pretty clean. So if you're finding this interesting, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Now I know a lot of you subscribed on that first video that I've done with this oil, so it's kind of interesting to see where this is going to go. If you've enjoyed this, keep an eye out for the next one. Maybe hit that notifications bell. Drop a comment below as well. So I know from the first couple of videos there's a lot of comments about the US not getting the 10W40. Yeah, sorry about that, but it is what it is. Anyway, thanks very much, and I'll see you later.